What is the number one most annoying thing about a 90s model Bronco? I can tell you what it is. It's the center console. This thing is absolutely junk. Don't mind the fact that I have one blue armrest and one gray one. I just recently noticed that. But let me get that out of the way. These cup holders, as you can see, I've already cut the original cup holder and glued a boat cup holder in place just so that way I could even halfway fit a Route 44. But these things, every time I set a cup in here and go to pull it out, that comes with it. This console drives me absolutely insane. It's small, it's plastic, you can hardly fit a drink in it. You normally rest your arm on this anyway. But I saw on a forum for the Ford stuff where guys are using Ford Expedition consoles. Now, y'all saw my last video, y'all saw I picked one up whenever we went out camping. To get ready to put that in, now like I said, we're not just gonna put it in. I've got a whole thing planned. It's gonna take some little bit of work to execute the plan, but what my goal is, all your modern day SUVs have AC vents that go to the back seats for the kids. Now, I can't really install AC vents in the ceiling. So what I'm thinking is, if I can tap into the AC up here in the front somehow and run AC tubes through the bottom of the console, I can add vents to the back of the console for the kids in the back seat. I've never seen anybody do this on one of these consoles, so I'm gonna give it a shot and see how it turns out. Our first order of business is I need to get this console out. I need to get this ashtray out so that way I can get behind here and look at how hard it would be to tap into this vent, or maybe the tube that runs back here to run between this vent and this vent to run ductwork down into the floor. Also, I need to, because we're going to cover up. The only bad part is this console leaves like that much of the cup or the ashtray exposed. So if I need to gut this, I can, but I can't really fully get rid of it because obviously I need the fascia to go back into place. Now the power point here in the center, it is no longer going to be in use. So I am going to get to the backside, pull the power out of that and drop it down because the new console has 3 power points in it, which I am going to utilize all 3 because it already has all the holes. So I'm going to put one in the back for the kids, one in the front in the center, holes already there, and one on the passenger side so I can have one for my wife, one for me, one for the kids. I mean, they're there. We might as well utilize them. So I'm going to go ahead and put fresh power points in it all the way through. And we got to start working on. She's out there pressure washing the console right now because it was disgusting. And I'm going to start working on getting the inside disassembled. We can go from there. Okay. So yesterday I got all of this disassembled. As you can see, glove box is out, ashtray is out, power point is out. This is the wiring for the power point because you have one inside of there and one inside of here. So I've got the wiring dropped. This one right here, this is the light for the ashtray. So I'm just gonna block that one off. We are no longer gonna have that. And then these two, or this one is gonna be one of the, we're gonna have 3 power points on the console. So I do need these for power points. But what I was looking at was that right there is the, as you can see, there's one of the AC ducts right here. So this whole box is the AC. So I'm looking at how I can cut into this. And what I'm thinking is, this is the AC ductwork. It stretches and all that stuff. But this, I'm gonna go through this hole and I'm gonna notch the ashtray around it later. But I'm gonna go through this hole and boom, right there into that. And then I got some actual duct, like AC duct tape, the aluminum backed duct tape. It's what they use for ACs in homes. I mean, it sounds kind of redneck, but this is not like a AC system for a hot rod we're trying to adapt into OEM stuff. So I'm gonna punch a hole in that, and then we can duct this into there, and then we're gonna run that straight down, and then it'll go into our console. So I need to get this duct into there. That's my next step. But while I'm working on that, I'm gonna get the first piece of our puzzle here painted, because like I said, I trimmed it. You can see that little corner that's notched out. It's gonna fit in here like so, trimmed to the dash right there. So I would like to get this painted. I'd like to get that painted as well. So I'm gonna try to get this cleaned up, trim the last couple of things I need to trim out of it, which is cut a big notch right here for the AC duct to go through, which I'll show you later, and cut right here, 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 and here for the AC duct to be able to drop down. It's gonna go down under this and then come up through there. So I'm gonna cut those spots, then I can get that sprayed. While those are drying, I can be working on the AC duct in here. So I've got this hole in here made, this hole right here. I got that cut, and now this duct is gonna go up. I've got it where it's right at form fitting. So now what I need to do is take some of this tape. As redneck as this really does seem, this is honestly the absolute best solution I could come up with. I mean, it's what they use for ACs on houses. And I didn't just grab, you know, regular old duct tape and do that. I'm trying to be at least somewhat legit. So, let me see. Watch out. This shit sure is sticky. Now I just got to go all the way around the diameter of that and make sure it gets sealed. All right, so we've got this all hooked up. Now we're going to give it a shot to see how this stuff does. I haven't tried it or nothing. AC max. Got nice good air. Got air coming out of here. Put it up to the speaker. See if y'all can hear. So that's got air. Perfect. That's what we needed. So I had to cut the top side of this ashtray. I just slid it over the hose. I'm gonna pop it up here into place. So I gotta throw 3 screws in this, securing it into place. So I'm gonna do that real quick, and then I'll show you the cover on the front. So here is the ashtray, all gutted. Pretty much it just popped apart, other than I had to cut the very bottom out and the notch out of the front right here. I just opted for a square notch because we are never ever going to see it. And that's it. That's how that's gonna live for the rest of its life, right there. I might throw a screw or something in there to, like, because now it doesn't have a latch inside of it, so I might have something to lock it down, because now you don't want that trying to rattle. So let me see if I can come up with something for that real quick. Some kind of way to lock that down real fast, and then we can move on from there. Put the glove box back in. We literally have no use for that being a part anymore. All right, so I'm on lunch here at work, and before I finish this up, I'll show you what I got. This is what I finished or came up with while I was on lunch. But it's your 2 air ducts right here at the back of the console. So trimmed out the back of the console, that's going to go in there, but we're limited on space. So what I did was came up with this right here. So the air is going to come in here. It's going to get divided between the two, and then go up and out the 2 vents right here. So right here in between, there'll be a little piece of rubber on each of these with a hose clamps, one on here, one here, one here, one here, and a hose clamp right here for the tube going into it. Now it's all gonna get seal welded, and the back of this is gonna get sealed off as well. Let me set this down. Yeah, the back of this would get sealed off as well, as well as this is going to get seal welded all the way around. And then whenever I get to the truck, I can figure out thickness here on how much I need to shave, and thickness there on how much I need to shave to be able to squeeze it behind the couple or behind the console. But that just gives you an idea of what I've come up with so far. My little air splitter. I even put a divider that's pretty equal side to side. I'm not going to weld it down through here. If it gets air passage between the 2 of these, I'm not worried about it. But to try to help divide the air more evenly between the 2 ducts. Alright, so here's where we're at right now. We've got the center section of the console is bolted in. We've got the console itself bolted down to the base plate. That's a shot of it underneath. We've got the wiring right here for the one that's going to go inside of, for the power point that's going to go inside of here. We've got the one right there already wired, and we've got the wire running to the back for the rear. So now what I need to do is grab this rear panel, I need to attach the ductwork to here and then bolt this onto the back. And then up here in the front, I need to make a tab. What I'm gonna do, I don't know if anybody else does it, how everybody else does it. I'm obviously doing things a little different than everybody else because I'm adding AC. But I want to make a tab going from here to the bottom of the dash to secure, well, that's a bad representation because this will hold that, but I don't know if y'all can see how much that moves. Just so I could try to hold this down, I'm gonna make just a little sheet metal tab that screws from here to here, just something to stabilize it up here in the front. Gravity's gonna hold it down for the most part, but you want something just as a little extra stability, because you can tell that it originally had right here and right here bolts, but that's at an angle and I'd have to build a bracket up from the floor and all that. It's fine. We're just gonna build a tab coming from the bottom of the dash right here to the top of our interior structure. So I'm gonna do that real quick. I want to get this bolted on, and then we can move forward to putting the center section in, putting our lid on, and you can see how we have this cut out right here. And we're going to work on making our little cover for that. I've got a really good idea that's going to work, and we can make or put our little cover in here. It's using mostly OEM stuff, just needs slight modification like the whole rest of the thing. All right, so that's all mounted now. We've got the back all mounted, and I got a support in between, so now this doesn't shake. But now, here's what I came up with for this. Is it perfect? No. But it'll do the job perfectly of just keeping stuff out of inside of there, which is down here where I cut this. This originally was a 6-disc CD changer deal, and out of the same plastic that I cut this hole down here, I just made a little piece that goes in here like this. I ran 2 screws through it, and it got it where it's blocked off, so that way you don't throw something in here, it goes down inside of there, and then it's lost underneath the console and you'll never get it back. Now, I also have, because the way it's mounted, you normally mount your 6-disc CD changer in here, and then it's got 2 tabs to hold it into place in here. So I did punch 2 holes, one right here and one right here, that's going to screw into the plastic on the inside of here, and then you use the factory bolt holes down here at the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and get this all bolted in now, this piece screwed in, bolted in, whatever, and then I can start putting the lid on and we can be done with the console. There we go. It's all installed. We did patch up a little cigarette burn. I'm not happy with how it turned out, so I didn't do a video on it. I mean, it'll do for now until I find a new lid, but I am going to look for a new lid. Let's test out the power point. Boom. Got power. Test the one on the side. Got power. Test the one back here in the back. Got power. So now, the only thing left to do is to fire it up and see how the AC does in the back. So let me get the tools that are in the floorboard over there out. We can give it a shot. Also, that's how our inside of our console came out. I'm happy with it. That'll work. All right, so I got it in the off position. All I'm gonna do is turn the key forward so we hear blower motor. I'm gonna turn this down, turn that on. I guess you can just turn it to vent. Y'all can hear that. We've got a little bit of air coming out of back here. Not nearly as much as I was hoping. Next step is I do have the new fan motor and relay and module on its way. See if we get more power out of the AC system with the replacement of all that stuff. So that'll be here tomorrow or the next day for all the parts, and we'll put it all in and see how it does. Since we're here and we're doing the console and we're trying to get it to flow decent for the AC system, I think I'm gonna have to rebuild this back plenum. But until then, let's try to replace some stuff that I'm sure just needs to be replaced with 200,000 miles on this truck. Whenever I popped the hood, I looked at the resistor and the blower motor, and they seem to be original to the truck. There's no indications that they're not. I went ahead and bought Ford Motorcraft replacement parts. They're over there on the table. But until then, let's get some baseline on what the truck has. So I'm gonna start it, not just turn the key in the run position. I'm gonna actually physically start it, so that way the alternator is keeping the fan at the highest RPM that it would do. Let's just say if you have it in the run position but not start, or run position but not on, you might have a voltage dip, and there might be something that's causing the AC to blow slightly off than what it would normally. I want to try to give it the absolute most I can give it to try to run the best that it can. So let's start the truck. Now, you can see over here, that's what a little piece of paper dangling in front of there. That's what it's looking like right now. Obviously it's keeping it up, but I also wanted to test 787 806. Let's see what this one. $865, $964. I'd rather be a passenger in this damn truck. Anyway, we got a baseline. Now we have a baseline, and let's go ahead and replace the blower motor and resistor, and then we can get another test on it from there. All right, so here we are with this is the old blower motor, and I see the wheels got like way bigger teeth on it, but I don't know. This is the new one. I had to buy each and every piece of this individually. Well, I say each and every piece. I had to buy the resistor, the blower motor, and the wheel, and they're all separate. And I did opt to get the new wheel because this is the new part number for this truck. I don't know what the difference is. From what I'm seeing, this one might move more air. I don't know. We won't know until we get in here. So this one is now junk. We can now put this in the truck. We got to put the little foam ring on the box first, and then here's your resistor. So the resistor is a series of springs that, depending on which power you send it to, is how much resistance it has to go through. This one does not look like it's in bad shape at all, but it can make a difference. So this is a motor. I mean, everything I bought here is all Motorcraft. This is all the Ford Motorcraft. This is all the Ford replacement stuff. So let me go ahead, put the resistor in real quick, put the little foam on, put this back in, and we can start testing the system. I'll show you real quick where we're putting all of this. I've got a zip tie holding up those heater hoses, so that way I don't get burned. But right here is obviously the AC, and right over here, right there in that little corner, that's where the resistor goes. So now I just got to start putting everything back together. There we go, all bolted back in. See the resistor down low. Go ahead and cut that. Now let's climb around, go around here, climb in the truck. I have not fired it up yet to see what this is gonna do. Feels a little stronger, but let's get an actual reading. $1,023. $946. $944. $1,043. So it got a little better. It got a little stronger. That's an increased 100 feet per minute. Is it per minute? Yeah. Increased 100 feet per minute per AC vent inside of the truck. I mean, I feel like that's a pretty decent improvement for just throwing in some new parts that have 200,000 miles on them and could probably stand to be replaced anyway. I just spent a couple hours working on this back AC, rebuilding the plenum that went through it, and now we were getting 150 whatever per minute. Now we're getting 500 or 490 or something like that per minute back here. It's still half of what. Now if I take the plenum off and I just do the air duct that's coming back, it's getting 850. So it's all in my plenum on how it's built. These air ducts are actually cutting down about 100. If I take them off, it's getting a little bit more, but I want my daughters to be able to shut them off if they don't want the air back here. So I want to make sure that there is a vent that's closable and directable. So it's not perfect. You still get a lot of air from the front. It's just something to add a little extra air back here in the back. So that's it for this week. There's the final conclusion of the console. With AC to the back seat. Here's the back. Cup holders. AC vents. Power outlet for the kids. Come around this side, and you've got the power outlet in the front, right down here. Power outlet right there. And the inside of the console. Cup holders big enough to actually fit a drink. And it looks very OEM. So if you're thinking about doing some kind of a console in your Bronco, look into doing the 04 or 03 to 06 Expedition console. I've got a week's worth of labor in this one because I went above and beyond and added AC. But you don't have to add AC, and you can probably do it in a day. But hope this helps somebody. If it don't, whatever. I did it for mine. But appreciate y'all. See y'all next week.